Hi, it's Sarita Custis from the Breakthrough Marketer, and today we're going to take a quick look at Toonvidio. I have had the privilege of beta testing this software for the last few days, and I am having a lot of fun with it. So when you open the program, this is what it looks like. They provided several templates that you can use as a starting point, but we're not going to work with those today. We're going to start from scratch. So over here, we're going to click the Start button. Now, when you open the software, right in the middle of the screen is what they call the stage. This is where all of your scenes will be displayed for you. On the left side, this is where each scene that you create will be listed. On the right side, this is your library of backgrounds, objects, characters, things like that. So when you want to add something to the stage, you'll get it from the library. And then on the bottom, this is where you will see your timeline, so you can see what's going on in your scene, when different things occur, and things like that. So let's do a really basic video real quick. The first thing we're going to do is go over to backgrounds. They do have a search function, so you can search for like office or desk or something like that. I'm not going to delve into that right now, since this is just a quick overview. I'm just going to click a background that I want to work with. Let's use the Eiffel Tower. And then we'll click Add on Stage, and it will put it on the stage for us. As you see, it opened up project information that we can look at and adjust the fonts and all that stuff. I'm not going to do that right now, so I'm just going to click this arrow to shrink that back down. Now, as you can see, it rendered it up here in this little corner here. So we're going to size this image so that it fills the background. So when you want to size, you want to hover your mouse over a control so that it turns green, and then you just drag it to where you want it to be. So I have dragged this to completely fill our background. So this is the background of our stage. Now we've got a background, so let's add a character to our background. And for this one, I'm going to we'll use this saleswoman. And let's use, what do we want her doing? We want her waving. So we'll add the saleswoman waving. As you can see, we get a preview of her on the screen, and we'll just click Add on Stage. I'm going to close that. We don't need to adjust those properties. We're going to put her right here in front of the Eiffel Tower, waving to her friends and family. Now, if we want to see what that looks like, we come over here to our controls and click Play Scene. And you see her waving. Nothing super fancy here. Now, things that I really love about the software, as you saw, it's easy to move things around. You just click them and drag them. Very, very simple. It's very easy to size things. My biggest challenge is a lot of times for example, I have this person selected. I'll go to make her bigger, and I'll move the background. And it's not really a problem with the software, it's a problem with my mouse control. Because if you highlight the little square and make it green, then you have no problem. But if you're like me, you're impatient, you're hurrying up, and you think, oh, I've got her checked, I'm just going to drag that. And as you see, that's not green. My mouse is not on, my cursor is not on the control. So make sure you have it green before you start dragging. Some other things that are a little quirky, sometimes the 3D characters don't render properly. They might come in teeny tiny. They might come in just fine. Usually the problem occurs when you add several different characters or actions onto the stage. They will not render properly. And like for this time, she came in just fine, no issues at all. I'm going to get rid of her because I don't want her on here, but sometimes it'll come in teeny tiny and it'll be hard to see. They are actively working on getting all the issues with 3D characters corrected, so it's not really a big deal. But if it does happen to you, all you have to do is save your project, close the program, and open it back up. You might have to do that a couple of times to get it to render properly, but it will render. Speaking of saving, when you save your project, you go to Project, Save As. It will save as a file type called .toon, .toon. So if I save this file, sometimes when you save a file and then open it back up, it will not display your characters properly. Let me show you an example. I'm going to open one that I've created in the past. Okay, so on this one, I've got two scenes. On this first scene, I have a character first walking onto the screen and then second talking to you. So if I click play, you'll see she's not walking across the screen properly. And she does come on and speak to you properly. That happens correctly. The problem is, let me stop this. The problem is the first character starts at the beginning of the timeline and goes all the way to the end of the timeline, when actually she's supposed to stop walking at when this character comes on the screen at about 1.5 seconds. So if we go here and just drag it over that end bar over to about 1.5 seconds and then click play, she walks on and then she starts talking. That's exactly what we want to happen. So it works just fine. As you saw, it took, what, 0.5 seconds to correct the problem, but it is an issue that they're working on getting fixed when you save your file and open it back up. Also, that problem that I just showed you, where sometimes your character timing or placement is off, that also applies to the templates that they provided. So if you are going to use a template, you may have to do some adjustments to the characters when you open it up. Not a big deal. As you saw, it's lickety split, super fast, super easy to correct, but be aware that you may have to make those slight adjustments. One other thing that is a minor issue for me is when I'm looking at my video, I'm previewing my scene, all I can see is this scene. I have to actually view each scene one at a time, that it doesn't carry over. So if you are wanting to see what your entire video is going to look like, you actually need to publish it to preview it. And it's hard to get a good feel for the flow of your video that way. But that's what we have, and I like the tool enough that I'm more than willing to deal with that minor issue. So as you can see, adjusting things is super fast, super easy. Saving your files, opening them up, rendering your videos is simply a matter of pushing publish. One thing that's fantastic is you can export these as GIFs. So if you have just someone standing on the screen waving, or a really simple animation that you can loop and show over and over and over again, a GIF is a wonderful, wonderful tool because it allows you to add just an image to a web page, to social media, even put in your emails. And since it's just an image, you don't have to worry about encoding rules and learning how to embed and all those kinds of things. You simply add it as an image to your page. You can also create what's called emotional recognition videos. And this technology is amazing. It allows you to get instant feedback from your viewers. You know what your visitor thinks and feels about your video based on what they do while they're watching it. That means you can react, adjust immediately to improve your results. One thing that I'm putting a request in for is the ability to create videos at 1080p. Right now it's at web resolution, which is 720, which is wonderful for normal web videos, but if you want to publish higher definition, then you don't have that ability right now. But we might talk them into it, so we'll see what happens. So it's fantastic, a really, really easy tool to use, and I highly recommend it. So check it out along with my bonuses. Just go to tbmgo.com/Toonvidio, and that's spelled TOONVIDIO.htm. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.